All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Natty Teacher. I'm your host. Who else but The Natty Teacher, man? It is a Saturday. It is a rest day. I just got home just a little bit ago from the zoo. Went up there with my wife and our daughter, and also some of my nieces and nephew, and my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. So had a lot of fun. It's a beautiful day. Perfect day to go to the zoo. Nice and a little bit of cloudy, a little cloudy, little cloud cover, all that. Anyways, you guys aren't here to hear me talk about the zoo, I don't think. Maybe you are. It'd be weird if you already knew that I went to the zoo. But you are probably here to have me chat about the title of the video. Okay, I saw this post on Reddit, and it struck a chord. It struck a chord with me. Okay, in the sense of, I was like, man, that's a great idea to do a rest day vlog about. I haven't made my video yet. That's a perfect topic. Okay, so today's video topic, and it's going to be a 5 to 10 minute video, 10 minutes at the most. We'll try to keep it as concise as possible. Today's video topic is all about how you can avoid the dreaded skinny fat. Okay, if you are familiar with the fitness and bodybuilding weightlifting community at all, those are two words you never want to hear next to each other. It's one thing to be skinny and it's one thing to be a little fat, but to be a mixture of the both, it's the worst possible thing. It is. It's, first of all, let me tell you this, it's not the worst possible thing, okay, especially if you're putting out effort. But nobody wants to be skinny fat. No, okay. Generally, what people are meaning, if you are unfamiliar with the term skinny fat, generally what that means is that it's somebody who is not really visibly well overweight, but is smaller in stature, but holds a decent amount of body fat on their frame. But again, especially with clothes on, you would think that they are, an average looking person, not overweight at all. Okay, but with clothes off, generally it may look as though they're holding excess body fat, even though they have a smaller, skinnier frame. Okay, so again, not the worst situation to be in, definitely not. But here's a few common mistakes and a couple things that I would highly recommend for you if you feel like you are in that spot. And I'm not talking about, I don't have anybody to name in particular, but if you feel like, if you're watching this video and you feel like you're in that position, you have two ways you can go. You have two ways you can go here. And I'm going to kind of, in a broad sense, try to cover both of these options, in my opinion. Okay, and a couple mistakes that you might be making. Okay, the one way I think a lot of people think they need to go, this is the most common thing I see it on Reddit all the time, in different bodybuilding and fitness related forums that I'm a part of and what have you. I see a lot of people think that they are skinny fat, and so the way they need to go is down. They think, I'm feeling a little skinny fat, I'm holding excess body fat in my midsection, I'm holding some excess body fat, I can see my face is filled out, or maybe my arms feel a little blah, whatever it is. And they think they need to cut, okay? And in some situations, that absolutely could be the case. But I would actually argue that for a lot of you out there who are like, man, I'm feeling skinny fat, the main thing you need to focus on is putting on muscle, okay? Muscle, the best thing you can do to avoid, looking skinny fat is to put on some muscle. I think some people want to, again, they want to cut it down. They're like, and it's the right mindset. It makes sense. Also, you'll see me sipping on this. This flavor of Ghost, by the way, what is it? Electric Limeade. 9 out of 10. Love this stuff, dude. It's really, really good. I've had a couple cans of these. Whoo. Muy delicioso. Muy delicioso. Not sponsored, by the way. Would love to be. That's a dream sponsorship right there, but regardless, most people think they need to cut down. Okay, most people think they need to cut down. They think, well, I'm going to lose body fat. Well, here's the problem. If you don't have enough muscle under that skinny fatness that your body is carrying, it's not going to pop. Nothing's going to happen. You're just going to look like a smaller, still skinny fat version of your previous self. Okay, you're just going to have probably a little less fat, but you're still going to have that skinny stature and no muscle there. So it's still going to kind of look blurry and not like a whole lot's going on. Okay. So what a lot of people who are in that situation, and maybe it's you, maybe it's not, maybe it's somebody that is on their fitness journey and they're feeling a little lost, okay? What you need to focus on is putting on that muscle. Get into the gym. A lot of people think they need to go into a caloric deficit. If you are just full-blown, unhealthy amount of body fat, then yes, we're probably looking at needing to go into a caloric deficit while training. But if you are somebody who is in the gym, you're making progress, but you just look in the mirror and you're not happy with how you look, and you're like, I can see that I'm getting skinnier, but at the same time I still have body fat, your body, in my opinion, is most likely telling you you need to put on some muscle. So my recommendation, here's my first recommendation for you. I've already kind of mentioned it. Go into a slight caloric surplus. Focus on putting on muscle. Focus on, making progress inside of the gym, getting stronger, doing more repetitions, with a particular weight on exercises, doing better form and technique in those exercises. All of that should go hand in hand, but focus on those things first. Don't necessarily think you just need to go into this massive caloric deficit and burn a bunch of calories and think, oh, if I burn more calories and burn more fat, I'm going to look better. Well, again, if you don't have that base of muscle, nothing's going to happen. That is why, my friends, I'll give you a perfect example. If you look at off-season professional bodybuilders, okay, and a lot of them nowadays don't go as crazy as they used to, or at least they still stay in good shape, even 300 plus pounds. But if you look at guys in natural, or not even just in natural, but in bodybuilding in general, if you look at bodybuilders in the off-season, like even myself, you're going to see that there is absolutely some blurriness. Now, I hope to still have visible abs in my off season. That is my goal as a natural competitor, and also at my age. I don't need to get up to 260 again. That was ridiculous. Okay, was just way overweight at that weight. But what you'll see with a lot of bodybuilders is that they add 40, 50, sometimes 60 plus pounds to their stage weight, which, again, maybe not as common as it used to be. And they just, well, let's be real, they were fat. They had a ton of muscle, but they were fat. Okay, but then they'd cut down, and because they had that base of muscle, because they had built that muscle in that off-season massing phase, when they cut it down, ooh, man, they look sharp. They look great. They look even bigger than they did in the off-season, 60 pounds lighter. You know what I mean? So for a lot of you out there, again, focus on putting on the muscle. Please focus on putting on the muscle. Here's another recommendation I have for you. Make sure that your diet is looking good, because I think there's a lot of people who think I'm going to go to the gym but still eat whatever I want, and it's going to help me not be skinny fat anymore. I'm going to be muscular. I'm going to put muscle on. It's like, yeah, you probably are going to put muscle on, sure, but you got to be careful of getting just fat at that point instead of skinny fat. Okay. Again, you have to have that balance of I love the term lean bulk. I do, but at the same time, you have to be realistic with that. A true lean bulk is eating that 5, 6 plus meals a day of clean macro and micronutrient dense foods that actually digest, your body can absorb, and then utilize for fuel, for growth, for recovery, for energy, all of the above. And that differs person to person, of course. But again, you have to focus on those things. A lean bulk doesn't mean 5 cheat meals a week. A lean bulk doesn't mean, I ate all my 6 meals, but I'm still hungry. Let me run to Taco Bell and, splurge at, 2 o'clock in the morning. No. A lean bulk is actually eating good, healthy foods, following that 90-10 rule, 90% clean, 10% dirty, or even in my case, I like to call it the 95-5 rule in the off season, where it's 95% clean, 5% dirty. And that's just enough for me to kind of satiate any kind of, and curb any kind of cravings, fulfill those cravings that I might have. So you have to have that self-control, whether you're, again, trying to grow or shrink down or whatever, you got to make sure your diet is in check. Here's another thing too, okay? If you're feeling skinny fat, you may have some issues that are causing your skinny fatness outside of the gym. If you're somebody who looks at your midsection, let's say, okay, and you just feel like it's like, bleh, this looks gross. It's like, man, but my arms are popping. My shoulders are looking round. My chest is popping. The quads are looking good. But man, I look at my midsection. It just kind of looks like a melted candle. Okay, well, first of all, make sure you always train your abs. Always do that. Do your cardio as well. It's going to help, keep that midsection tighter. Practice stomach vacuums. I'm doing it every day in the morning. 5 rounds, 15 to 20 second holds in the morning. It's great. Sometimes I do it twice a day just to keep it moving, especially in the off season. But sometimes outside of the gym things do that. Let's say, here's the biggest one, probably a lack of sleep. Okay, a lack of sleep is going to stress your body out, screw your hormones up, man. You're going to hold water and fat in places that you don't want to hold it in. I promise you that. Okay, maybe you're stressed at work. Maybe you're just stressed in general. Maybe you're an anxious person and you're coupling that with trying to, make physical progress, and you're not seeing that physical progress, and it's making you more anxious, and it's a negative crap cycle that you're going to get yourself into. Okay, so there are some things outside of the gym that you need to address. So let's kind of recap some of these main points as we approach this 10-minute mark. Okay, for a lot of you, don't worry about cutting. If you're skinny fat, put muscle on first, please. Okay, or if you feel like you're skinny fat or whatever, put some muscle on first. Okay, if you are in a space where it's like you're doing everything right, Make sure you double, triple, quadruple check your diet. Maybe even have somebody who really knows what they're talking about. If you're unfamiliar, look at your diet as well. And the third one, and I would argue potentially the most important one, make sure that all of the factors outside of the gym that you maybe aren't so worried about because you're so focused on what you're doing in the gym are in check. You're getting enough sleep. You're not overly stressed. You are making sure that your workouts and cardio and all that, they become so much a part of your routine that you don't even have to think about it. Okay, it's not even on your radar. You just plug it in. You plug it in, you do it. Okay, and it's just no problem. Okay, so make sure that you're taking care of yourself outside of the gym just as much, if not even more than you're taking care of yourself inside of the gym. Okay, so we'll be at 11 minutes or just under, so we cruise through that, so only 1 minute over. So again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, guys. If you have any video ideas for the future, please leave them down in the comments below. I appreciate y'all tuning in and watching this rest day vlog of the Natty Teacher. But for today, I'm the Natty Teacher, and this rest day summer school vlog is out. I'll catch y'all tomorrow.